On the evening of August 6th, Unitree Robotics announced its IPO price, 150.8 yuan per share. The online subscription took place on August 10, and now we have the results. The final retail winning rate was just 0.0181%, roughly one successful allocation for every 5,500 applicants. So yes, getting Unitree shares at the IPO price was basically like buying a lottery ticket. At 150.8 yuan per share, Unitree market capitalization is around 60 billion yuan. Now hypothetically, if Unitree reaches a 100 billion yuan, $15 billion market cap, one full allocation of 500 shares would generate 48,000 yuan in profit. That's roughly $7,000. Based on the subscription numbers, I wouldn't be surprised if at market open or in short term will trade way higher than that. The real question is whether Unitree can actually grow into a company worth 100 billion yuan or more in the long term. And that's what I want to look at today. Because at this valuation, investors aren't just paying for what Unitree is today. They are paying for what they believe Unitree can become. So let's take a look at the actual business. First, there's a number we need to talk about, and that's the price to earnings ratio. At 150.8 yuan per share, Unitree's IPO corresponds to a P ratio of around 219. That's very high. So why is the market willing to give Unitree such a high valuation? First, let's look at some of Unitree's financial data. Let's just look at the revenue. As you can see, revenue grew from around 159 million yuan in 2023 to 393 million yuan in 2024, and then surged to around 1.7 billion yuan in 2025. For the first half of 2026, Unitree expects revenue of around 1.05 to 1.12 billion yuan. So if the company performs roughly in line with their guidance, full year 2026 revenue could be slightly more than 2.3 billion yuan. The absolute increase is pretty impressive. Every year, the company is adding hundreds of millions of yuan in revenue. But for a technology company like this, I think the growth rate is actually more important than the absolute revenue number. Unitree's revenue growth was around 332% in 2025. But for the first half of 2026, the company expects revenue growth of around 35 to 45%. Compared with the 332% growth rate in 2025, that's a huge drop. In terms of pricing, Unitree Robotics is recognized as a price killer in the industry. The Go-To-Air brought the price of consumer-grade quadruple robots down to below 10,000 yuan. The G1 brought the price of medium-sized humanoid robots down to 85,000 yuan, and the Air 1 Air further reduced the price to 29,900 yuan. The prospectus also lists a comparison of peer pricing. Boston Dynamics quadruple robot Spot has a public price of approximately $74,500, equivalent to 500,000 yuan. Figure's humanoid robot O2 has a price of $59,000, equivalent to approximately 420,000 yuan. How can they achieve this price level? According to the prospectus and the inquiry letter, Unitree has achieved full-stack, self-development and self-production of core components such as motors, reducers, encoders, dexterous hands, and LiDAR. The response to the first round of inquiries showed that excluding optional high-specification outsourced LiDAR or dexterous hands, outsourced components accounts for approximately 14% to 18% of the total cost. The benefits of full-stack, self-development and self-production are obvious. Unitree Robotics production costs have been decreasing in recent years, while its gross profit margin has been increasing. In 2022, its gross profit margin for its main business was 44%, which rose to 60% in 2025. The reason behind the increase, Unitree quadruple robots are divided into two product lines. The industry-grade B series, which had a gross profit margin of 67% from January to September 2025, and the consumer-grade Go series, which had a gross profit margin of 50%. During the reporting period, The revenue from the B series accounted for 30% of the total quadruped robot revenue, up from 30.7% in 2022. With higher margin products selling more, the overall gross profit margin of the quadruped robots naturally increased, rising from 42% in 2022 to 55%. The situation is exactly the opposite for humanoid robots. In 2024, the full-size H1 accounted for 44% of humanoid robot sales. But by September 2025, the lower-priced mid-size G1 accounted for 88%. Because the gross profit margin of the G1 is lower than that of H1, it dragged down the overall gross profit margin of humanoid robots from 68% to 62%. However, the gross profit margin of its humanoid robot at 62% is still higher than that of its quadruped robots at 55%. In particular, the fact that humanoid robots went from generating zero revenue to accounting for more than half of the company's revenue has pushed Unitree Robotics' overall gross profit margin significantly higher. Okay, so the margins are amazing. But who exactly is buying Unitree's robots? Let's take humanoid robots as an example. Unitree's prospectus give us some very interesting data. In the first 3 quarters of 2025, Unitree's humanoid robots business generated around 595 million yuan in revenue, accounting for 51% of the total revenue. Now, let's break that 595 million yuan down by applications. Scientific research and education accounted for around 438 million yuan, or 73%. Commercial consumption, including things like store displays and cultural or tourist performance, accounted for around 17%. And actual industrial applications, such as intelligent manufacturing and intelligent inspection, accounted for less than 10%. After all these years of development in humanoid robotics, universities, technology companies, and research institutions are still the main customers. What are universities and research institutions actually buying these robots for? Research. The main purpose for buying robots is to conduct algorithm research, model training, and teaching experiments. And the problem is that this market is limited. The bull side of this customer base, described in the IPO prospectus, is that if laboratory clients buy robots for research today, their research results will drive the robots into more application scenarios. The changes in the revenue structure of quadruped robots over the past few years have also validated this path. Scientific research first, followed by consumer demand, and then industry application gradually emerge, which is a valid perspective, but we don't know when it will play. Okay, so if the research market isn't enough, what about central and state-owned enterprises? Over the past 2 years, they've started making some very large purchases. There was recently a huge procurement plan involving embodied intelligent equipment from State Grid. The reported plan was to purchase around 8,500 units with a total investment reported at around 6.8 billion yuan. Industry leaders including Unitree, AGI Bot, and Ubitech are named as core suppliers for the initiative. The main categories included 5,000 quadruped inspection robots, 500 humanoid robots for live line work, and 3,000 dual-arm inspection robots. That's a huge amount of money. So why would central and state-owned enterprise buy these robots? Obviously, there are suitable application scenarios. Take the power industry. Inspection work has 3 characteristics: high standardization, high risk, and high labor cost. In this situation, inspection robodogs can reduce the exposure of workers to dangerous environments. Most importantly, central and state-owned enterprise need to respond to national policy. China's latest 5-year plan places a lot of emphasis on upgrading the energy system and developing new technologies. So the executive of these companies obviously have to take this policy seriously. In my opinion, this policy support will probably continue for quite some time. So yes, state-owned enterprise purchases could support companies like Unitree over the next year or two. But large-scale industrial deployment of humanoid robots is still some distance away. The current robots still have limited generalization capabilities. That makes it difficult to use them across a wide range of applications. And from a cost perspective, in many situations they still don't have an obvious advantage over existing automation solutions. There's something interesting that you can actually look at yourself. Unitree has released almost 100 videos showing its robots, but only one of them, released on February 13, showed a robot working inside a factory. Most of the other videos showed the robots running, boxing, doing backflips or dancing. So we still have a long way to go before humanoid robots can truly be deployed at large scale in factories. Of course, it's impossible to say exactly how long that will take, but you shouldn't simply listen to industry leaders, insiders saying that humanoid robots will be everywhere in homes in 2 or 3 years. Their opinions are obviously influenced by their own interests. They're going to be optimistic. So how far are general-purpose robots from large-scale commercialization? In its response to the first round of inquiries, Unitree Technology gave a clear answer, believing that the problem was mainly due to two issues. First, the generalization ability of the embodied large model is insufficient. The model performs well in the laboratory, but it is prone to problems when it is put into the factory workshop and encounters oily floors or dynamic material stacking. Second, the dexterous hand is not precise and durable enough. Industry scenarios require precise grabbing, and home scenarios require handling objects of various shapes, which the current dexterous hand cannot yet do well. It's not hard to see that the first question seems to be the more fundamental one. The prospectus also emphasized the risk. If the company and the global embodied intelligent industry fail to achieve significant technological progress in the field of large-scale embodied models, the large-scale application of general-purpose robots will be uncertain. Therefore, Unitree Technology 4.2 billion yuan fundraising is aimed at addressing these issues. The prospectus showed that 85% of the funds raised will be used for R&D projects. The largest single project is the Intelligent Robot Model R&D project, which takes 2 billion yuan, focusing on tackling key technology for the brain. Other projects include 1.11 billion yuan for robot body R&D and 445 million yuan for new intelligent robot product development. The remaining 624 million yuan will be used for manufacturing-based construction. So these investments will accelerate the timeline. And hey, if you're watching this video today, you might still have a chance to use these robots. Anyway, that's my general analysis. Of course, this is based on the data and information available today, and it's not investment advice. Is Unitree a good company? Yes. Has Unitree already proven that it can make money? Yes. But the question we really need to think about is, what is going to drive Unitree's growth from here? Because that's ultimately what we are paying for when you buy the stock. Again, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments when do you think you have your own robot and what video should I do next. Until then, have a great one. She asked me if I had